What if the most glamorous woman in Hollywood grew up with no heating in her home? What if the girl who once worked 3 jobs just to survive became one of the most powerful actresses on the planet? And what if she did it not by waiting to be discovered, but by walking into a room, slapping Leonardo DiCaprio across the face, and refusing to be ignored? This is the real, raw, and remarkable story of Margot Robbie. July 2nd, 1990. Dalby, Queensland, Australia. Not Los Angeles, not New York, a quiet, sun-baked farming town in the middle of rural Australia. That is where Margot Elise Robbie came into the world. Her parents separated when she was just 5 years old. Her mother, Sari Kessler, raised 4 children almost entirely on her own. There was no luxury. There was no comfort. Margot has spoken openly about growing up without central heating, about wearing the same clothes season after season, about a childhood that was full of love, but painfully short on money. But from the very beginning, Margot was different. She performed in every school play she could find. She joined local theater groups. She practiced accents and scenes alone in her bedroom for hours. The dream of acting was not something that arrived slowly. It hit her all at once, and it never left. At 16, she packed what she could and moved to Melbourne. A teenager, alone, determined. She knocked on doors. She sent audition tapes into the void. She was told no more times than she can remember, and she kept going anyway. To survive, she worked 3 jobs at the same time. She waitressed at Subway. She cleaned houses. She did whatever it took to pay rent and keep chasing the one thing she wanted. There was no safety net. There was no plan B. There was only the dream. And then, finally, a door opened. In 2008, she was cast in the Australian soap opera Neighbours, playing the beloved character Donna Friedman. Australians fell in love with her. She was warm, funny, and magnetic on screen. But Margot was already looking beyond Australia. She was looking at Hollywood. In 2011, she made one of the bravest decisions of her life. She packed her bags, bought a one-way ticket, and moved to Los Angeles. Alone. With very little money and no guarantees of anything. She slept on a friend's couch. She auditioned constantly. She waited between castings. She watched other actresses get the roles she wanted. She felt doubt. She felt fear. But she never felt like quitting. And then in 2013, everything in her life changed in a single afternoon. Martin Scorsese was casting The Wolf of Wall Street. One of the greatest directors alive was building one of the most talked-about films of the decade. Margot walked into that audition room knowing she had one chance. And instead of playing it safe, instead of doing what every other actress did, she improvised. She looked Leonardo DiCaprio in the eye, and she slapped him. Hard. The room went silent. And then Scorsese nodded. She got the role. Her performance was raw, fearless, and completely unforgettable. The world did not just notice her. The world stopped and stared. What followed was one of the most extraordinary career rises Hollywood has ever seen. She played Jane in The Legend of Tarzan. She became Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad. A role so electric, so completely her own, that audiences came back for it again and again. Then came I, Tonya in 2017. Margot did not just play figure skater Tonya Harding, she became her, completely, painfully. The performance earned her first Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. Critics called it one of the greatest performances of the decade. Then, Bombshell in 2019 brought her a second Oscar nomination. 2 nominations in 3 years. Hollywood was no longer just watching Margot Robbie. Hollywood was following her lead. And then came 2023, the year that turned a great actress into a global cultural force. Barbie. A film that the entire world talked about for months. A film that made over $1.4 billion at the global box office, becoming one of the highest-grossing films in history. Margot did not just star in it, she produced it. Through her own production company, Lucky Chap Entertainment, She was the creative engine behind the entire project. She did not wait to be cast in a great film. She built one herself. So what is Margot Robbie worth today? Her net worth is estimated at over $60 million and climbing fast. Her reported salary for Barbie alone, including back-end profit shares, was said to be in the region of $50 million. She is the face of Chanel, one of the most prestigious luxury endorsement deals any actress can hold. She partners with leading fashion and beauty brands globally. But her most powerful financial move is Lucky Chap Entertainment, the production company she co-founded in 2014 with her husband Tom Ackerley, has produced award-winning films and series, turning Margot into something far beyond an actress. She is a businesswoman, a producer, a force of nature with a seat at the table where decisions are made. And how does she live? Margot and Tom own a beautiful home in Los Angeles. She has properties in London and her beloved Australia. On red carpets, she is a vision: Chanel, Versace, Saint Laurent. Photographers call her one of the most consistently stunning women in the world. She travels by private jet for major productions and premieres. She wears jewelry that costs more than most people's cars. But here is what makes her genuinely fascinating. Off-camera, she surfs. She hosts barbecues in her backyard. She drinks beer with close friends. She laughs loudly. She is fiercely, unapologetically Australian. And that groundedness, that refusal to become someone fake, is perhaps her greatest quality of all. Her husband, Tom Ackerley, is not a celebrity. He is a film producer, her business partner, her creative equal, and her best friend. They met on the set of Suite Française in 2013 and married quietly in Australia in 2016 with a small group of their closest people. No massive celebrity wedding, no tabloid announcements, just two people who chose each other. Margot has described Tom as her anchor, the person who keeps her real when everything around her becomes extraordinary. She does not share their relationship publicly. She protects it. And in Hollywood, that takes real courage. Now here are 5 things about Margot Robbie that most people do not know. She was almost cast in the role of Anastasia Steele in 50 Shades of Grey before turning it down, a decision that shaped her entire career trajectory. She holds a real estate license in Australia. She studied and qualified for it as a backup plan when acting felt uncertain. She co-produced I, Tonya through Lucky Chap before the film even had a studio attached. She bet on the story herself before anyone else believed in it. She has dual citizenship, Australian and British, giving her the freedom to work and live across multiple countries. And despite earning tens of millions of dollars, she still personally replies to fan letters that move her. She has said she never wants to forget what it felt like to be the girl who was hoping someone would write back to her. Here is what the story of Margot Robbie truly teaches us. It is not about beauty. Plenty of beautiful people never make it. It is not about luck. Luck does not book you 2 Oscar nominations. It is not even about talent alone, because talent without courage means nothing. It is about what happens when a girl from a small farming town in Australia decides, truly decides, that she will not stop. Not for rejection, not for poverty, not for doubt, not for fear. She was the girl who worked 3 jobs to afford her dream. She was the girl who slept on a couch in a city that did not know her name. She was the girl who walked into the most important audition of her life and did something no one expected, because she knew that playing it safe was the only real way to fail. That girl is now one of the most powerful women in Hollywood, and she did it on her own terms, entirely, every single step of the way.